Alright, the title of this video is going to be, It's Not You, It's Them. I have been the victim of stalking for almost 10 years of my life. It started back in Wadsworth, Ohio, where a woman named Jennifer Thomas had made a decision about me that I deserved this, and she had connections with the government. She was a court reporter. My animals are being hurt. This is my little chicken. Her name is Ernie, and she has had her wings clipped. My cat, let me see if I can change this around. My cat Henry has had, it looks like hot oil put on his head, and this happened today when I came home. I have come back home to see destruction to my property. I have had eggs taken from my chicken coop. Inside of my chicken coop, it has been broken, and I'm not able to hang the stick that I used to have hanging. It wasn't this one. I've just kind of had tried a makeshift one. I need to fix it. This is my fence that I have had to repair, right here. Don't know if you can see, it has been pushed quite firmly. And here is the gate that was broken. And here's where I was gardening when Wendy came over and repeated a bunch of things to me that were from private conversations, believe it or not. I'm going to go to the house where I saw Don Davison's ex-husband after almost 2 years of being bullied at work. I was called in for a meeting, but it was because I told Dawn that she wasn't my friend. And nothing was done about the bullying. So this is the place right here. It is 19. Let's get the little address right here. And then if we walk a little bit further, we will get to the home that I had passed. I had gone to catch a train after this had happened. And my neighbor's husband started following me up the road, and I had no idea why. It was very weird. He was in the middle of the road. He was following me. I'll just take a picture of the mailbox. Here it is, 26. And the thing is just because of the fact that a lot of times you are subjected to this kind of behavior by so very many people, you begin to wonder if the problem is you or if the problem is really them. I think for me, I've always been the kind of person who had a very, very soft heart. And so, more than anything, I would think to myself, what have I done wrong? But after a while, you realize it's nothing that you've done wrong. It's nothing that you can change in your behavior. you're just doing normal everyday things that every other person does, and people are looking for ways to find a way to hurt you or incriminate you or whatnot because they've been told to watch you. And that's what happens when you are a targeted individual. And it's very destructive. It is very... It's very hurtful, and it's very hard to heal from. And when these things keep happening over and over and over again to your animals, for example, or, you know, the other day it looked as if my home had been broken into. I'm sorry, I'm walking. And the shampoos had been taken down, although I'm not certain. I mean, maybe I forgot to close the door to my apartment, or not apartment, my home. Maybe I had put the shampoo on the ground. Also, I noticed that my chicken coop lid had been moved. Maybe I had forgotten to put it back when I fed them. But these are all so many maybes, and they add up after a long time to where you start to think to yourself, something's really not right here. And I know that for me, I've been through some serious, like severe violations of the law, some serious criminal crimes. And I've received no justice for it. And all I can say is that it's likely connected to the fact that this court reporter, Jennifer Thomas, has somehow put something out on me or some kind of block on me. I know back in Ohio I used to always hear clicks on my phone when I would be talking to people, and it would be at very strange times in the conversation, and it was to intimidate me, but it was also I believe maybe one of the reasons why I was never able to get help when I would go to lawyers or when I would go to private investigators to try and get information collected so that I could make it stop. They'd be very excited about helping me, and then they would tell me, for some reason, that they couldn't help me. And that was really quite hard because it would be costly a lot of times. And I would have spent, you know, with the lawyers, it's like over $100 just to meet with them. So I can say I've spent hundreds of dollars trying to make this stop, at least, to no avail. And to me it just shows that there's really are cracks in the legal justice system. Something's really not right when somebody is being bullied by a whole community, and there is literally no justice that they are receiving. Especially when it's bad anyways, regardless, but there's no basis in reality for why I should be treated this way. I am a very kind person. I have always been a very kind person. I went to private school by choice from 7th through 12th grade. I mean, I was a youth leader. I received a reward when I was 13 for community service from the President of the United States. But of course a lot of people did in my class too who were in the community service program. But I mean, I'm somebody who's always looked to help people. And I'm not somebody who's ever looked to break the law or hurt anyone. So this is the cafe that I had it's coming up, an interview at with, where I was going to quite possibly be hired. But Dawn Davison saw me sitting and sipping coffee outside when she and Linnell Schotter walked down for their daily coffee. And she said some nasty things about me to the workers. She knew, because she had been my friend, that I was looking for a job in a cafe. And this was one of the cafes where I was going to apply. I'm just going to get like a very quick shot right here, right there. And I'm going to start walking back. And I never got that interview after she had gone there and said these things about me. I believe that she had been contacted by my stalker, Jennifer Thomas. I remember overhearing a conversation about a letter, which is a fairly common thing that they do, that the gang stalkers do, as they'll send out falsified documents on an individual, and they will also try and give a gag order of sorts, apparently, to where people can't even tell you if they want to that they're being asked to illegally surveil you and try and collect, anything on you. I have heard that actually in conversation, that they were told to report anything. I think that the biggest thing that I want to get across to anyone listening to me is that targeted individuals, it's not them. And it's a very hard crime to prove, unfortunately. And I know with me, I was really scared that I was going to sound like I was crazy, and that nobody was going to believe me. And that was a really, it makes it feel so much more you feel so much more isolated when you're going through it, because they literally do try and turn the whole world against you. And they're told that they have to do it in secret, etc., etc., etc. But it's against U.S. law, it's against state law in Ohio, it's against all of the anti-stalking laws, it's also against federal law. It can be punishable by death if you cause death or suicide in the individual that you are stalking, or whatnot. I believe it is. I can't remember totally what it is. It's in our Constitution, I think under Section 18. So there are laws against it. It's simply that we have kind of forgotten about it, I guess, as a society, or the importance of them and enforcing them and making sure that people don't become victims of this kind of crime, and that we do stand up against it in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our police departments. I know it's a hard crime to prove, but it does happen. And if you take all of the little pieces of evidence, and if you look into the different areas where the individual has been and worked, and if you do investigate, I guarantee you, at least in my case, you will find evidence of stalking. I've just overheard far too many conversations that I wasn't meant to hear. And I'm also very, pretty turned on to what's going on, and I have been for a long time. Luckily, I'm one of the peaceful people. I'm very forgiving. I am a Christian. But there's a lot of people who have to go through this, and they shouldn't. I think I'm going to end that here.